Hey, my friends, Marc at Grace Management. So if your company does real estate sales, one thing you've probably thought through at some point in time is, gosh, I've got all these tenants, and so many of these tenants want to buy a property someday. What program can I put in place? What communication can I put in place so I can effectively convert some of those tenants to buyers someday? It just seems like there's a pool right there, Marc, and they all say they want to buy. So how do I do that? How do I communicate with them? Should I have an incentive program? Should I give them credits and points if they buy with me? What are some thoughts around that? Well, we've been around a long time. We do sales, and we understand this process, and we've played with everything under the sun as it relates to this. So let me just kind of share with you where we're at today. And this, by the way, what I'm about to share, this is not a right or wrong. I'm not saying you should do it our way, but this is where we've landed after literally decades of playing around the edges with this, trying that, what works, what doesn't. This is where we're at today for your consideration. So here's 4 points I want to share. Point number 1 that you really honestly need to give sincere thought to as you're related to this is this. Is that a conflict of interest, right? An owner-client hires you to find a tenant for their property. Imagine you find the tenant, you place the tenant because you're representing that owner. You have a fiduciary duty to do everything in your power to keep that property occupied by a quality tenant, don't you? Sure you do. Sure you do. So is it a conflict then to, after the tenant moves in, to suddenly go back to the tenant and be like, hey, you know what you should really do? You should really move out of here and buy a property, and I'll help you be your agent. Now, I know we're not doing it that blatantly, but that's kind of what we're saying here, isn't it? Are you encouraging them to move? We should be doing the opposite. We should be saying, hey, you don't want to move. You don't want to buy anything. You want to stay right there. Keep paying your rent. That's a great option for you. Please don't move. Please stay in place. So it's a fine line to walk if you're going to be asking or propositioning that tenant or encouraging that tenant to move in to buy something. You say, well, Marc, I don't do it that way. I just wait for the tenants and say, hey, I think I want to buy something. And I mean, they're going to buy something anyway. They're going to move and buy something. Why not use me? I get that. I understand that. But just keep this in mind on the front end of things. Because if an owner hears that the tenant's moving, just keep it. And I know everyone's going to have a strong opinion on this. Like, well, Marc, I make my owner whole. I make sure I pay if the tenant broke, whatever. But just give it thought, because you don't ever want it to look like the fact that you have a conflict of interest there. Your goal should be to keep a good tenant in place for as long as is possible on that. That's thing to think about, number 1. Thing to think about, number 2, is simply this. Is that the best use of your limited time? I talk to a lot of you, more of you than I would prefer to talk to, quite frankly. And I never hear this. Marc, can you help me figure out what I should be? I've got so much time on my hands. Like, give me something to do. I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. I got nothing going on. I need something to do, Marc. Give me some ideas on what to do with my time because I have too much of it. Never once have I heard that question from any of you. I hear the exact opposite. Man, I got no time. I can't keep up with everything going on. I put out one fire and 2 more pop up. I'm pulling my hair out here. I have no time. That's where most of us are at. And if that's true for you, why in the world would you want to take your limited time and start carving off chunks of that to go to tenants who say, that's important, who say they want to buy a property someday, and maybe you put them in the back seat of your car and you drive them all over town and you show them this property and you show them that property, and then they want to see another one, and then you find out they're not even really qualified to buy a property because they didn't talk to the lender first. I just think that for us, and maybe for you, that is not the best use of our time, talking to tenants who may or may not become buyers. Because even if they do buy a property, it takes so much time to convert them. Now, this is different, by the way, than if they're just going to buy the property they're living in. If they love that property and they say, gosh, I'd love to buy this, then yeah, go to your owner. Mr. Owner, the tenant would love to buy it. You want me to facilitate something here? Be the broker in that deal? Absolutely. That's a little bit different. I'm talking about the tenants that you approach and say, are you interested in buying? They say, yeah, gosh, that sounds like a really good idea. And then you just pour your time, your limited time, into educating them, into doing seminars, and maybe one or two become buyers, but is it worth your limited time? You really have to ask yourself that question. So because of those two things in our office, we don't do it. We have agents. All of our property managers are licensed agents, and most of them do sales, but they know that the rule of the office is you don't do sale representation for tenancy. You can help buyers and sellers that are investors, owners, but not tenants. Why? Because of everything I just said. I know that it will be a tremendous waste of your time. One of my agents came in my office a few weeks ago, and they said, oh, I made a mistake. Started working with somebody who wants to buy a property, and now they're just sucking all the time. And I said, what? Why did you do that? You know we don't allow that. We don't do that. And she goes, well, it's my sister. I thought my sister would be a good buyer, but my sister's driving me crazy. So don't even work with your sister if your sister wants to buy something, because it takes so much of your limited time away. So we do not allow our property manager agents to represent tenants. Now, before I tell you what I think the best solution is on the backside of this, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Tenant Turner. We're talking about placing good tenants in properties. Well, one way we do that is by utilizing Tenant Turner. I'm recording this video in January, and one thing we do in our office every January is I ask all of our team about the softwares, different softwares we're using. Hey, how much do you use this one? Do we still need this one? Do you like this one? And when it comes to Tenant Turner, I say to my leasing team, hey guys, how's Tenant Turner going for us? And Tenant Turner helps us input leads, it helps us filter leads, schedule showings, handles all that for us. And my leasing team always says this, Mark, if you cancel Tenant Turner, we quit. We love the software. It is a tremendous tool to help us be effective on the leasing side of things. If you're not utilizing them, you need to consider them. Jump on their website, tenantturner.com, and we'll link to it here. Get the demo, find out how they can help you be more effective and save time in your entire input leasing process from start to finish. Okay, so the best option, I believe, is number 4 here, which is focus on your current owner clients. You have limited time. So if you want to help people buy and sell, don't focus on the tenants. You don't have time for that. Focus on your current owner investor clients. They've already bought a property. So the likelihood of them buying another or selling the one they have is dramatically higher as compared to the likelihood of a tenant buying their first property, which they're scared to do and they don't know what they're doing in that. Go to your existing, if you've got time on your hands, go to your existing owner clients and talk to them about a property that maybe one of your other clients wants to sell and say, hey, here's a great opportunity. Are you interested in adding to your portfolio? You need to have a program in place where you're constantly communicating to your current owner clients and asking them if they want to improve their property. Do they want to upgrade their property to a better quality, sell the one they have, buy another one? Maybe they want to refinance the one they have, buy another one. Maybe they just want out. They want to sell that. That's the best use, in my opinion, of your time as it relates and helps investors buy and sell. And it's much easier to do because the investor buyer is going to come to you and they don't need to see 25 properties. They don't need to see any. They want you to go find them a 3-bedroom, 2-bath rental that's going to rent for $2,500 a month. Just go make it happen. Go do it. That's easy as compared to the, oh, I'm a first-time buyer and I really like blue carpet and I want to make sure the window faces west. Ugh, that's hard to do. Consider it, not a right or wrong, but I hope you find it a little bit helpful. Jump on our website in other ways that we can help. By the way, we have our upcoming Visit Grace event. If you like the stuff we're talking about in all these videos, you would love to spend 2 days with me and my team as we talk in depth about all the things we do to be successful. We've got our next event coming up shortly. Jump on the website, pmbuild.com. Would love to see you there. Until next time, my friends, I wish you success.